Hey, Hannah, what you playing?
Payday 2.
Hannah?
Shit, we're blocked!
What's that?
ECM.
Why?
So you can't call for help?
Hey everybody, welcome to Tin Plated. I'm Sean.
I'm Rob, and this is 10 Plated Talks, episode 18.
Legal in all 50 states.
That's right.
Barely legal teen episode.
If only we were so lucky. But, yeah, so Sean is back, having survived.
From thyroid problems and burns and then back pain and muscle spasms and so on and so on.
Don't forget the food poisoning.
Yeah, it was a real shitty weekend.
We had a hell of a party. But,
No, we didn't. It just sucked. Anyway, we got quite a pile of questions, mostly from two people, but we'll go ahead and get to it. Let's just start off with the banter guy who had 5 questions over to Cheever. His first one was, if you could command a kingdom in Westeros, which one would it be? I'm inclined to go for the bullshit answer and say, well, the 7 kingdoms is ruled by one king, thus making it a kingdom.
I'm inclined to say the same thing, but I don't think that's what he means.
I don't either.
I think he wants you to divvy it up into one of the 7 and pick one.
I think I'll sit my ass in Casterly Rock and count my coins.
You would?
Yep.
You would?
Likes me some monies.
You know, on first glance, I'm inclined to say the Ironborn, but let's face it, there's like 24 of them, and they've never amounted to much.
Yeah. I like the theory that they're actually a leper colony for grayscale. Or at least were hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Right. I want the wildlings. I want the 100,000 wildling army consisting of giants and cannibals and mammoths.
So you want to be the king beyond the wall?
Yeah, but we're getting through that fucking wall.
Through it? Wouldn't over or under it be a little more practical for a army of that size?
If you're a pussy.
All right then.
How are you going to get a mammoth over a wall that tall?
Catapult.
How are you going to have a mammoth on the other side? You're going to have pieces of mammoth.
Put them back together.
Not really how mammoths work.
You can pull it off. If you had more determination. Question number 2. If you got $100 million to create a game, what kind of game would you make? I got it pretty easy here. I just need to pick one of the ones that already exists and give them a hell of a budget. I want to see an open world survival crafting game. So there's The Forest and 7 Days to Die and Rust and DayZ. I guess I'd just pick which one of them looks like it's going to suck the least and
there's
go
also
with it.
There's Minecraft, right? I mean,
That's not really what I'm talking about.
You want more realism?
Yeah. Survival. Minecraft isn't a survival game anymore. It hasn't been in ages. There's Project Zomboid for a top-down thing. I don't really care if it's first-person or top-down. I like that kind of shit. I like scavenging together from a pool of 100,000 items they coded into the game and putting them together.
Here's what I would make. We were talking about this one day a long time ago, and Sean was telling me you couldn't really do it the way I want because there's too much to it. But for $100 million, by God, you'll make it the way I say. And here's what I want. I want a Pokemon game, okay, where you get to actually fight dynamically, not turn-based. You're in there playing as the Pokemon. Whatever Pokemon you want can catch, the whole deal. So, it's a run what you brung. If I throw out a Raichu, then I'm controlling that Raichu as it runs around and does backflips and shoots lightning. Because In the games, it's turn-based.
Yeah.
I hit you, and based on the numbers, maybe the attack doesn't or doesn't, and then it's your turn. But in, like, the show, you could always do dynamic shit, like tell him to jump and shoot, or run through the puddle, or shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. I want dynamic, 100% perfect control of every Pokemon.
Now, if you wanted all the Pokemon, I think you are way overestimating what a $100 million budget will get you on a AAA title. You're insane if you think that will get you all the Pokemon in 3D.
Well, I'll take the first 150.
Well, the theory that we came up with was that you would be locked to, you'd have slots.
7.
Slots that you, no, 6.
6, yeah.
You have slots that you put your Pokemon into. You have to have a water slot, you have to have a grass slot, you have to have a fire slot, then a close range, medium range, and long range. You'd have a couple, maybe 3 different options available in-game, and other Pokemon would be available to download as DLC to put in the slot.
Well, I don't remember element slots, but I remember, like...
Yeah, remember? We had the 3 starters and then the 3 combat categories.
Right, well, but our starters were also filling in some of those. 'Cause, like, you could have a flying type if you had that slot. But, yeah, basically you would have what he described. But for $100 million, I want more than that.
Again, I don't think you understand the budget of a AAA title if you think $100 million will get you all the Pokemon rendered in 3D in a game that you're going to be happy with.
Well, we'd save a bundle on, like, voice actors and shit.
No, you wouldn't. You got to re-record all that shit. Every single Pokemon's Pika, all of it, has to be re-recorded. All of the dialogue in the game, re-recorded. If you want this to be, the kind of thing you're looking for, you're going to need a shitload of Foley work, you're going to need music, you're going to need all the Pokemon redubbed, all of it. I mean, when they were doing the anime, they didn't just record Pikachu 5 times and edit it every time. No, there was someone whose job was to walk in there and make Pikachu noises. And you would need that. Either that or they'd make one sound, and it'd be repetitive as shit.
Well, make them 10 sounds, but yeah, that's what I want.
Moving on, what technological advancement would you like to see happen within the next 10 to 15 years? Well, what I'd like to see would be the AI singularity. I'd like to see a computer that can write a better version of its own programming. Which, of course, would rapidly lead to the utter destruction of the human race, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
robots can win.
I don't want that.
I'd let the robots win. I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Fuck you, quitter.
It's not a quitter. It's acknowledging the superior entity.
Yeah, my shotgun says otherwise. But,
yeah, their titanium plating doesn't really care what your shotgun says.
where are you going to get that much titanium? Look, the point is, Sean's
human slaves, obviously.
Sean's hut, right there in the middle of the uncanny valley notwithstanding, I would like to see 3D printing get to a level that it is viable and personal. So,
what would you term to be viable?
like, if you wanted to 3D print something now, it's probably going to either be of very shitty quality, either because the material you're using isn't good, or we just don't have the ability to make something that's nice.
What do you want? I don't understand what you want out of it. Tell me what you
out of a 3D printer?
Yeah.
Well, I would like something that can 3D print electronics
They have those.
at the at-home level.
They're expensive. And what
Exactly.
are you going to do with it? You don't have the understanding to design an electronic board.
No, I wouldn't have to. I would go online, download a mouse, tell it to print me that mouse.
You actually can do that. The schematics are going to be hard to get, but you can print the shell, you can print the buttons, you can assemble it. The wires would be trickier, but you can just buy a spool of wire and put it in there. And the circuit board you can print on a PCB printer.
See, that's not what I want. I want
The
to...
problem is the toxic chemicals involved in printing circuit boards. There's no way around that. You're not going to get that in your house.
vented system.
You're not going to get that in your house because the EPA would shoot you. It would be one of the few things they draw weapons for. You can't have that shit. It's dangerous as fuck. Now, you could breadboard something out pretty easily. I've seen a couple of hobby projects where someone built a laser mouse, because they could. Looked pretty neat. Yeah, you can do these things. It's just, it requires a level of skill that, frankly, isn't worth it, generally.
Well, yeah, but if you had something that the 3D printer was of a level where you could just tell it, I want a a wine glass, and it just self-contained, small amounts of all the materials it needs. It just, bzzz, here's a wine glass.
If you want it out of plastic, we got that.
I don't want it out of plastic. I want it out of glass.
How you presume to put glass together like that?
Give it sand and make it capable of going really hot.
You know that's not how glass shapes, right?
Well, no, it's typically blown.
Yeah.
I want it 3D printed.
So how do you presume to make glass?
I'm not a fucking nerd. I don't know. Take that up with the engineers.
You're neither a chemist nor a physicist, so I can acknowledge that you don't understand how glass happens. But that doesn't work.
He asked what advancement I would like to see.
You want physics and chemistry to go fuck itself so that you can have a magic replicator from Star Trek.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
All right, and I thought mine was ridiculous to expect within 10 to 15 years.
Yours is ridiculous because it leads to the downfall of humanity.
Yay! Earth has created a better species.
Earth hasn't created dick. Humanity created it.
Humanity didn't create itself.
No.
Earth created humanity.
No. The Earth, the actual...
I'm not talking about the rock, I'm talking about the biosphere.
Okay. Still, we wouldn't do it.
Why not?
Because it's knowable that it would lead to something unpleasant.
No, it's not. Lots of people think they can go around it.
Then lots of people are idiots.
Doesn't matter. All it takes is one of them to do it.
Oh, God. See, this is why we need tight leashes on those inventive types.
It's the gray goo problem. The nanotech problem of gray goo.
Right.
If we create something that we can program to break anything down into its component molecules,
how do you
what
stop
happens
it?
if you fail to stop it from breaking everything down into a uniform gray goo? So that the entire planet is just a blob of nanites and gray goo.
That's why you don't do that.
But we need nanites.
Not that bad.
Nanoscopic technology is very valuable.
Not saying it isn't valuable, but you know what is irreplaceable?
You want that glass built? You're going to need a nanotech.
So
you want your wine glass, you need nanites.
So you're saying it is possible?
No, it's not. We don't have that tech. We aren't even close. But if you want a glass printed from nothing, you need a nanite. Okay,
then. So physics can go fuck itself. Nanites can solve my problem.
So you want gray goo?
Not all of it.
So what do you want? You're like, I'm scared of this technology till it gives me the thing I want.
Yes.
Wow. And that, children, is why scientific advancement doesn't get funding anymore. We need another USSR to argue with us about whether or not they can make it first. If you could own any car tax-free and insurance paid for the next 20 years, what make and model would you want? Tesla Model S. Next question. Electric blue, by the way.
Any car?
Any car, apparently.
See,
I don't think you can ask for a specific car. You just can ask a make and model. You can't say, I want the car in which Bonnie and Clyde were shot to death. Or the,
Actually, one of my ancestors was the U.S. Marshal that killed them, but as far as making... See, the problem with that is, I have a feeling in the next 10 years, Google's going to have that self-driving car, and that's going to kick ass, except I don't trust it. Like, I think the idea is cool, but I don't trust it.
Why don't you trust it?
Because I'm afraid the government will use it to control my comings and goings, and then when they decide I don't need to go somewhere, they'll turn it off and I'm trapped.
So you put the car in manual.
If it has a manual.
They all have a manual.
I should hope so. But yeah, I'd like one of them self-driving cars that Google's working on. I think that's really cool.
So you're naming another technology that you really like until you're scared of it, and then you don't want it to exist?
Oh, I just don't trust the government.
Okay.
That's not the technology's
So don't
fault.
wirelessly enable the car.
Well, then how could it be self-driving?
It can still use sensors to detect its surroundings. These self-driving cars don't drive because they're connected to the internet.
That's what I want.
They have a
Self-driving.
GPS that they can refer to, but that hardly requires a wireless connection unless you want traffic updates. And you can sequester that through a firewall and sandbox it.
Then please.
Okay. If you had the classic Genie 3 Wishes deal, what would you wish for? Again, I'm inclined to go with the bullshit answer because...
More wishes?
Specifically, a way to weasel around the more wishes thing. There was a short story printed in one of the Penn and Teller books. I think it was How to Play in Traffic. And it was called The Devil Went Down to Bell Labs. And it was where the devil presents himself to give 3 wishes, to do that whole asshole genie thing, to fuck with an engineer at Bell Labs. Unfortunately, engineers tend to be the exact wrong type of person you want to give that sort of bullshit question. Because they usually have a plan for this. And he cooked up this scheme where the course of his 3 wishes were to wish for the genie to be genuinely interested in his well-being, freeze time and advise him on all possible consequences of the wishes that he's about to make, and predict, since, it clearly cares about him, what sort of wishes may be necessary and stop time when it may be prudent to do so. Essentially, gearing himself up a flawlessly loyal slave. So while I'm inclined to do that, I think that's out of the spirit of it. So I have to also knock out my second option, which is be where I wish for omnipotence, omniscience, and for you little pussy thing to get out of my face.
Well, now, because here's the thing. The classic genie is doing it to fuck with you. Like you ask for $1 million and it gives you $1 million, and then the police knock on your door because $1 million went missing from a bank and you suddenly have it. But I don't think that's the classic he means.
Yeah.
Where the genie is a malevolent trickster spirit.
If that were the case, I would just sort of ignore him.
Yeah. I would put that fucking lamp back and be done. I think what he means...
I would give it to a poor Arab youth.
Yeah, I think he...
feels bred to live.
Precisely. He means the Aladdin-style genie, in which case I'm wishing for the only in existence but perfectly functioning 100% Red Lantern ring.
The Red Lantern ring.
Yep.
Doesn't that one sort of consume your brain function to a degree?
Not the first one.
Not the first one.
Nope.
But you just said A.
But it'd be the only one. Therefore, I don't have to worry about that problem.
Ah, but you didn't pick which ring it's modeled after.
I have 2 more wishes. Stay with me.
Okay.
See, because that's when the ring arrives. Then, I wish that no matter what happens, the ring can never take over any of my mental faculties, nor do me harm. Which is not something they're programmed for. That has to be a separate wish. Okay. And then the third one is for just an obscene amount of money.
I'll just take the first wish and second wish being for the white and black lantern forces to just do my bidding at my whim. Trump card, motherfucker! Boom. And that sort of cleans out the banter guy. Damn, 15 minutes to you. Woo! Audio dump! Showing up with,
Also 5.
a hefty pile. What's your opinion on fluff versus crunch in RPGs? For those of you who don't know what that means, fluff is more story-based stuff, and crunch is more rules-based stuff. I like a heavy simulation aspect, because when things get too hand-wavy, I lose interest, because it comes off as bullshit at that point.
For me, I find with a lot of the crunch heavy ones where it's playing the numbers game, this boosts me by this percentage versus this percentage, that sort of thing, I get bored and I hate it. And I will not play turn-based games because I think it takes all the skill out and turns it into accounting, the game.
He's talking about tabletop, man.
Ah, I thought he was talking about RPG video games.
No, that fluff and crunch isn't used in computer games.
Oh, I'd never heard it before.
Yep. So I was wondering what tabletop you've ever played that isn't turn-based.
Never played one that isn't.
That would be
That would be chaotic, yeah.
That would be Rock'em Sock'em Robots, I believe.
I could see that, yeah. No, I'm not super heavy on the story stuff, because I find that you tend to lose the thread. And when you've got multiple people all telling different stories, that can be kind of a problem. So.
And RPG writers, on the whole, tend to be a little too foofle-doofle.
Yeah.
They lose track of themselves real quick.
Yeah. So I like kind of here's the system in which you have to operate, go nuts.
Yep. Second question. I was unaware Rob had a profound hatred of Souls games. In light of this, you think it would be possible to set up a rotation?
Hold on. How in the fuck are you unaware of it? I have said more than once, I cannot stand them. Anyone who's unaware has not been paying attention. And no, there's no rotation.
Rob will play until he gets sick of it, and then I'm going to have to do it. That's pretty much how I see this ending.
I'm going to either beat the game or smash everything.
As someone who's made and GM'd several RPGs, there's one thing I'm always curious about hearing from other GMs and players. What's the game that you want to play? What's your dream board game or tabletop game? I really like the GURPS system. Specifically, I like to have a whole bunch of fiddly bits I can pull apart and keep track of. I like obsessing over the minutia. I like creation systems in games. And we're pretty much playing that as a weekly game right now.
It's true.
We play with once a week with PK Levine. He's the assistant line editor of GURPS, actually. And he's running a game for us where it's sort of a post-apocalyptic setting, and we're wandering around trying to scavenge up things that we can trade and put together bizarre hodgepodge inventions. Matter of fact, my character's called Hodgepodge. And just try to not die.
Yeah. No, it's fun. For me, when you ask what's the game I've always wanted to play, the game that has come close so far for me is actually the Spartacus game. You get to run a ludus, and that to me is probably something.
What the fuck is a ludus?
A ludus is a stable of gladiators.
Ah.
Yes. That to me is something that I think is really rich for gaming, but hasn't been explored as heavily as far as I know. It is a gladiator setting, where you could either do it from the perspective of you are a gladiator, good fucking luck, or you're running a ludus and it's micro versus macro at that point. But that has always really interested me, and the Spartacus game gets close. As a matter of fact, me and some friends wrote house rules for it that really expand it and bring it into its own. We added animal fights and levels of the tournament to make hosting more profitable, and we changed up the gambling system. But yeah, I'd like something set in that.
There's a system that it's obviously a far more modern thing than a gladiator setting. But it's called Wild World Wrestling. And the idea is you run a stable of professional wrestlers. You make up a whole stable filled with faces and heels, maybe some tweeners, running the gamut from the jobbers and curtain jerkers who are just out there to lose, to the big flashy names with the pyrotechnic intros and everything. And it's semi-kayfabe, where you're running it from an outside perspective.
Are you even speaking English anymore?
Kayfabe, it's a carny term.
Look, I know you got the teeth for it, but your ass ain't a carny. And you know for fact I ain't a carny.
Kayfabe comes from the word fake, and it's the story you're trying to sell to the rubes.
Okay.
And kayfabe in wrestling means, the Undertaker, as a character, is an undead thing or a mortician or whatever the hell he's been over the years. That's the kayfabe. The shoot, the reality of it is, his name is Mark Calloway. He's a big guy, and he gets hurt doing his job a lot.
Right.
Semi-kayfabe means you're playing it from the gamut of trying to put together the entertainer role, but the outcome of the match isn't scripted. It's played out from, going along with the story. But it's all set up in the kayfabe of it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's nothing like being a gladiator.
It's actually quite a lot like it, except nobody gets killed.
Actually, very few gladiators died, but the gladiators were very rarely aware that their matches were rigged, if they were. And the only real rigging was the choice between if someone died or not. Now, if the other team got a bunch of chariots and war elephants and you're a dude, you're probably set up to lose. But that didn't happen a whole lot. You know what's interesting? We have records. We know the exact number of every animal that ever died in the Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
We have not a single fucking clue how many people died.
Lols.
Animals cost money. People was cheap. But do you know that the single highest paid athlete in human history was a Roman charioteer who cleared more than $1 billion a year? Well more. Gladiators frequently did endorsements. That's the thing. People think, oh, well, you're a slave. And you are. You sell yourself to a ludus for a set amount of time. but you're still entitled to your wages, winnings, and endorsements.
There you go. Related question. What's one thing you wish you'd never seen in another game? The one thing that causes immediate eye-rolling and apathy when you see it. For God's sake, let Tolkien die! Not every fantasy setting needs dwarfs, elves, and goblins.
And they don't all need to fit. You know what I really hate? Is anytime they do pre-manufactured types.
Like class-based systems. Fuck
right.
that shit.
If
And
you
fuck
want a big
level-based
guy
systems.
with an axe, you don't get it. The guy with the axe has to be a dwarf. Because I guess if you're tall, a long, heavy weapon makes no sense at all.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, that shit is more than I can stand.
I need my systems to be modular enough that I can play whatever the fuck I want to play. Templates are fine, as long as you can customize them to a degree, and then grow where you want. Fuck your level-based shit, fuck your class-based shit.
Yes.
Last question from Audio Dump. How does Rob feel about the current state of the History Channel? I imagine the way most educated people feel about it.
Well, you know, I remember the History Channel back in the day was good. They put on programs that had their best attempt at education and entertainment, and they've always kind of delved into the alternative timeline stuff. I remember one of my favorite shows as a kid was History's Mysteries with Leonard Nimoy, you know? And he did everything from telling the story of Bonnie and Clyde to aliens to the Loch Ness Monster to, you know, Area 51, the whole deal. But that sort of thing was balanced out with learned programming that, you know, it wasn't a collegiate level, but it was well informed. And then they started trying to make their bones with like, well, people seem to like aliens. Let's do aliens. You're skipping
over a phase. You're skipping over the Hitler Channel phase, where they never showed anything that wasn't about World War II. Well, there were no other wars in human history.
No, but that was the one for the first time where we have a lot of video.
Yeah.
So it was a natural fit because we don't have any video and we have very few photographs from the Civil War.
So you do stage documentaries. There were documentaries about Egypt.
And they still did that. But the thing is, at the time, people wanted to see actual footage. It's more compelling because, frankly, their budget didn't allow for them to do very good reenactment stuff. You can tell when they did their reenactments, they basically got D-list actors at the set of a movie and ran up and go, hey, guys, look, I know you just got done shooting this probably softcore porn, frankly, but quick, you two fight each other. Film that. All right, we're doing a special about Egypt now. But so they did the best they could with what they had, and World War II was fertile ground.
But they didn't start with just World War II. So obviously they had other stuff. They just shifted towards that, and I think that was the beginning of the end.
I disagree. I think the beginning of the end came when they stopped dealing with anything factual, and it became straight speculation.
So you were okay with the Hitler Channel era?
I was.
When they abandoned all the earlier stuff they had? Because you saying they didn't have the money for it falls apart when they already had that stuff when they were a smaller, less popular channel.
Yes, and it was very poorly done. Their budget wasn't there. That's why when you want to see the best the History Channel can do, you got to watch them today. The best stuff they've ever made is on right now. They have all the bullshit, the American pickers, which, by the way, if I ever get the chance, I'll beat those two to death. Bare hands in full view of the public until they die. I hate them so much. But because of shit like that, they have the budget now to make shit that is staggering. They can produce amazing shows with, you know, great quality and very factual. And it's because they finally have the money. So no, my thought on the current state of the History Channel is they're doing their best with an ignorant, unlearned population. I'm more disgusted with the average viewer than I am with the channel that's just trying to pay their bills and from time to time put out the kind of programming that they should be doing. And it's a shame that they have to whore themselves on ice road truckers to do it.
Aliens. Bo Cephas asks, assuming an equal number of forces, who do you think would win in a battle? Alexander the Great and his Macedonians versus Scipio Africanus, or any notable Roman consul and their legions?
You know, here's the basic issue with that problem.
Let me interrupt you for just a second. when he read this question, the rant began the moment he finished reading it.
The basic problem with this question, and I'm going to answer it, but I need to address a flaw in it first, is you don't get to say an equal number of forces. Because there are, and always have been, armies who their entire crux is their numbers. Be it the well-trained Spartans in small groups, or the Russians in World War II who were putting out fires with human bodies. You know, it was everybody grab onto the stick, now go charge that machine gun. If my
Three guys, one gun.
If my army's basic principle is we will win because there's more of us, you don't get to take that away and say, no. What if there was only 3 of you? Because the bottom line is, if you gave equal equipment and numbers, a good Roman, cohort's going to beat the fuck out of an equal number of U.S. Marines. Give them all swords and shields. The Marines are so fucked they won't know which way's up. Because it's, hey, we've got oh shit, I'm bleeding from this knife wound. Because I don't know how to hold a tower shield. But using the question as it's presented.
On the flip side, if you gave a bunch of Roman legionnaires Predator control laptops, they're dead too.
Well, yeah, they'd probably just crash it into themselves, or
assuming they could launch.
Actually, no, more likely they would just worship the laptop.
I guess that counts as a win for the other side.
And then fight like mad bastards when you tried to kill them because you're separating them from their actual god. They might still rally on that one, but the thing is Alexander the Great predates Rome a little. Remembering that a few of Rome's best generals existed at the same time as Alexander the Great. We're talking 350 BC, in that neighborhood, circa. Rome was around and kicking. Now, they weren't consolidating their power for another 200 years. But remember, Macedonians and Rome have never gotten along. Matter of fact, they have a long history of that problem. Alexander the Great just went in the other direction. He met his end dealing with India. Had he decided, them Romans, they look fertile pickings, there probably wouldn't have been a Rome, or its development would have been severely retarded. I would have to say, because Rome and Alexander existed at the same time, we can answer this question, and Alexander wins. Because the Rome of 350 versus the Alexander of 350, Alexander runs them over. Now, if you want the greatest Roman leader, that's Gaius Julius Caesar. Arguably, maybe not even that hard, their greatest general. And that's in the year 100 BC. He'd win. He has 200 years of technological development and strategy. I mean, that's not even fair. When I've got 200 years of research, knowledge, and wisdom, fuck you. Because they're still using swords and shields. So Julius Caesar would have studied the moves of Alexander. But, so no, I think the most fair example is to take Rome in 350 and Alexander and say Alexander wins.
There you go. Brandon William asks a much simpler question. What's your favorite breed of dog? Great Danes. Welsh Corgi. TNT is cool 54. Yeah, that's all you get, Brandon. Apparently go fuck yourself.
What more do you want? He wants my he didn't ask why. He didn't ask my least favorite.
I don't even know what to tell you. I think they're cool.
I like them because they're big and fun. They're friendly.
TNT is cool 54. Will we see some Payday 2 videos? If yes, will you do them with your other roommates?
Yes.
Yes and yes. We're just trying to get us up to where we can have 4 people going at once. It's probably just going to be from my camera's point of view, because I'm the only one with the computer powerful enough and all the software to do all that. It's probably going to be streamed, and then we'll just, move some of it over to YouTube. But yeah, you're going to see some of it. We just don't want to half-ass it, since we can get a 4-man crew. We want to wait till then.
And frankly, we want to get it up to where, because we're leveling pretty good. Sean's around 80. Me having a job, I'm around level 55. But we want our crew to be performing well.
Adequately.
Yeah.
We're not skill-based players. We've never been skill-based Let's Players or streamers because we're not that good. We will never be in the top 100 of pretty much any game we play unless it's because there are 98 people playing.
I actually might be one of the best Mega Man players.
Okay, so we're going to see a Mega Man speed run from you?
If I had any idea where my old Game Boy was or how to film that, we could try that.
I can do it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Can you do it with an Xbox controller?
I have no idea. I've never played it with an Xbox controller.
Because I can make this happen.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd have to practice with an Xbox controller, but...
All right, then. Mega Man speed run from the braggart Robb coming up pretty soon, apparently. But no, we've never been skill-based. It's just that we want to be able to not be so embarrassingly bad. It's not fun to watch.
Yeah. Now, although I will say, some of the missions, we don't have the ones where it's like, Death Wish solo, 2 minutes, this is how you get I Am the One Who Knocks achievement, which I actually saw that video today.
Really? I haven't watched that.
Oh, dear
God,
God.
I'm terrified.
The guy does rats, solo, Death Wish, no AI. Just by him fucking self.
Fuck.
Yeah. I was watching this going, this is some bullshit.
Wow.
But, we have teamwork down. We work well together. And because we're all playing at the same time, our characters are developing complementary traits. So that's good.
Yeah. In case you're curious what the arrangement is, Robb plays as Wolf. I play as Chains. Josh plays as, I think he plays Dallas.
I think he is Dallas, yeah.
Yeah, and Wayon, who I don't think you guys have seen yet, he's not actually one of our roommates, he's just a guy who's over a lot. And he keeps his computer here because our internet is way better than his. He plays Hoxton, so that's the 4. Although, if old Hoxton is released, mine. Dibs, go fuck yourself, all of you.
I don't want him. I want Wolf.
Good. Good. I declared it. I declared it on the internet. It happens. And the last question, also from TNT is Cool 54. Will you play GTA 5 when it comes to PC? Yes.
Yes.
I want to play it.
Yep.
I don't know if it'll be right when it comes to PC because I don't want to pay full price for it, and I want to make sure they've, patched the bugs out. But yes. Yes.
Now, because I do feel bad, we left a question out last week because I don't know what happened. YouTube fucked us. Do you know, and if you don't, because I just remembered it, your favorite pre-1900s novel? Mine's The Time Machine by H.G. Wells.
Novel?
Yeah.
Specifically novel.
He did ask for novel. I forget even who. Because otherwise, mine would be Faust, but that's a play.
Mine would be Inferno. Yes, just Inferno. I don't like Paradiso, and Purgatorio was boring as shit.
I liked Paradiso. Purgatorio wasn't worth the trouble.
Yeah, Purgatorio was bullshit.
All right, well, that's fine. That counts.
No, that wasn't written in...
Well, no, it's an epic poem, but...
Yeah.
I would still say it counts.
I guess it sort of counts.
Okay, what's your favorite post? Because that was the other part of his question.
Oh, favorite post-1900?
Mm-hmm.
Anthem by Neil Stephenson.
How Few Remain by Harry Turtledove.
There you go. I'm generally not big on the classics. I've read a few of them, but my mind just doesn't go in that time set. I've read and enjoyed lots of things from those periods. I like a lot of Shakespeare's plays. I think a lot of them are garbage. I think it would do wonders for Shakespeare's reputation if people would stop doing Romeo and Juliet as a tragedy. It's a comedy. You're supposed to be laughing at how stupid those kids are. Shakespeare listed it as a comedy in his own list of plays. It's not a tragedy. The kids are fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, and it works better as a comedy because they're so over the top.
Exactly.
Oh, you drank poison. I'm going to kiss you for the poison now. I mean, just shit like that.
Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with Hamlet. You can't fault Hamlet. I like Macbeth. Gentleman of Verona's not bad. Othello's good. Tempest. Fucking love Tempest.
I like Tempest.
Hard to do correctly. And it's one of the few plays that I think reads well. Another thing that's ruining Shakespeare is when you go to high school and they make you read Shakespeare. It's a fucking play! Don't read it! Watch it! Get the fucking Kenneth Branagh version of Hamlet. Put it on the TV in the classroom. Watch it. Watch the fucking thing. It's not meant to be read.
No, that bit of our education system comes from a time when you were expected to be able to read a play. It's a holdover from when theater was the primary form of entertainment, and your average person could read a play and properly get a feel for it. We've never dropped it from the curriculum.
Theater is not the dominant art form anymore for mass consumption. It's never gonna be, but that doesn't mean theater has lost its value. It just means we need to stop treating it that way. There's my soapbox. Rob, are you done with your soapbox for this episode that's been running fucking long?
I'm done.
All right, guys, we've been rambling. I guess we got some opinions out there. Thank you for watching. Like the Facebook page, comment and subscribe and like this video. We've got an Instagram, we've got a Snapchat, we've got a Twitter, we've got a Google+, which if you would, please circle us in your Google+. I know it sucks and I know it's bullshit, but it's the only way we can reliably reply to your comments, and we like to be able to do that. But I understand if you think that Google+ is bullshit, because it absolutely is.
Also, we do have a Twitch channel that we very thoroughly enjoy doing stuff on. So if you'll go there and get notified, you'll find out when we're doing Twitches.
I'm actually thinking about, in the process of trying to work out the bugs for when we get ready to stream Payday 2, just doing occasional unannounced streams for here and there, see if anybody shows up, and if nobody does, whatever. I'm just there working the bugs out. If you guys want to watch it, come watch it. If not, whatever. We're probably not doing anything that's special. Anything big we'll announce, but just keep an eye on our Twitch channel. I think we've got it set up so that if you're watching one of our videos and we happen to be streaming, there'll be a little alert in the bottom saying, "Live now!" And if you click it, it'll take us to the Twitch page, which it used to be sort of a weird advertising on a competitor, but Google is buying Twitch. So, there you go. Works for you guys.
Yep.
But that's all we've got for today. Thank you for watching. We will see you again for the podcast next week, and of course all the games we put out during the week. We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, try it.
Tastes like cardboard. To the garage I will go.